मोक्षधाम जवाकाज प्रगट्या दादा भगवान आप वाए कावतारी ज्ञान भयो धन्य आकार हे दादा जग कल्याण करो सौ जीवो मोक्ष ज्ञान पामो दुनियाना अंतरायो तूटो स्वामी सौने शरणे लो हे दादा जग कल्याण करो सौ जीवो मोक्ष ज्ञान पामो दुनियाना अंतरायो तूटो स्वामी सौने शरणे लो दादा भगवान ना असीम जय जयकार हो
Yes, beautiful timing, Marcella, the way it ends. And
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai
Wonderful.
Sachidanand Mahatma. Bon dia.
Yeah, bon dia, bon dia, bon dia.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Bon dia, Reinhold. And Gabi. Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Okay.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai
Jai
Sachidanand. Rosie and the special one, her grandchild. Huh?
Quiero
Wow.
presentarle a mi nieto número 4, Ares.
Oh.
Ares Máximo.
His grandson number 4.
Wow. Congratulations. Wonderful.
Presentar a mi familia.
Yeah, right. So wonderful. Shuddhatma Bhagwan. When they come in the family of Mahatmas, they're very special. And Dadashri has said that they are all, in fact, in this upcoming, in this May Dadavani, Dada speaks about this generation of children who come into the homes of Mahatmas. Dada is saying very, very clearly that they come from the celestial beings, when they have finished their enjoyment up there, now they come here, you see, for further for further liberation.
Dice que cuando los niños, la familia de los Mahatmas vienen y se acercan a Dada, a los satsang y todo, es muy especial y hay todo un Dadavani para que habla de ello, ¿no? Y dice que son estos niños que vienen a la familia de los Mahatmas, mira qué lindo cómo se ríe.
Yes.
Cuando viene la familia, vienen, es como que fueron seres celestiales y vinieron ahora a la tierra.
Yes. Well, that's there is a lot more things about what Dada is saying about this generation, these children who come into the families of Mahatmas. Dada essentially says that they look at the time when we were born, and when some of us were born, when Anila was born, there was not much air conditioning and all of these beautiful comforts of life, and now all of these things have happened, if everything is available, so these children, these little ones who come, they come in this world with all their comforts, you see, all their comforts. What Rosie and her good husband went through is very different from what these children are now enjoying, you see, these little children.
Dice Dada que nos fijemos, ¿no? Que todos estos niños que vienen ahora vienen en una época donde todo el confort está disponible, que no es lo mismo en la época que nació Anila o u otros, como que todo está disponible. Rosy y su marido Walter, los dos Mahatmas y todo el amor, y aquí están los niños.
Yeah. Same with all of us, some of us who have grandchildren,
Y todos nosotros que tenemos nietos,
their content, their inner content is very different than our content. Our content is more kashais, their content is easy life, you see.
dice que nacen en un contexto, estos niños donde no es igual que el nuestro, que nacimos en contextos llenos de kashais,
Yeah.
y ellos ahora no.
Yeah.
Mira cómo besos. So,
Yes,
so
right.
cute.
And yeah, content
Eh,
is
Este,
different.
este niño es una historia particular porque los papás no querían tener niños y habían dicho que si venía un niño, interrumpían el embarazo. Y, y es gracioso porque él se mostró recién a los 6 meses, la mamá se enteró que estaba embarazada, no tenía ni un síntoma, nada, no sé dónde se escondió para poder nacer. Así que,
The parents of this child didn't want to have any children, and so and they said if we get pregnant, we are going to interrupt this. And the mother get pregnant, and she didn't even know until she was 6 months. So Rosie asked where he was hidden, so he can come to this
Yes, right.
birthday.
Well, beautiful. And now, this little one is blessed by all of us, all of us Mahatmas. We give our inner silent blessings for him.
Ahora este niño va a ser bendecido por todos los Mahatmas, con bendiciones internas para él.
Yes. Wonderful. Let's begin with the three mantra.
Comenzamos con el hermoso y comencemos por el trimantra.
Like this. Say, raise your
¿Quién va a
hands.
cantar el trimantra? Que levante la mano el que quiera cantar.
Okay,
Entonces,
Rosie.
Namo Vitragai, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vasayanam, Namo Loye Sabasahunam, Eso Panchanamukaro, Sauvapa Vapanasano, Mangalana Sasavesim, Padamam Kavai Mangalam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai, Om Namah Shivai, Jai Sachitanam, Namo Vitragai, Namo Arihatanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vasayanam, Namo Loye Sabasahunam, Eso Panchanamukaro, Sauvapa Vapanasano, Mangalana Shasavesim, Padamam Havai Mangalam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Sachitanam. Namo Vitradai, Namo Arihatanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vasayanam, Namo Lodeshavanam, Eso Panchanamukaro, Sauvapapanasano, Mangalana Sasavesim, Padaman Havai Mangalam, Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevai, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Sachitanam, Jai Sachitanam, Jai Sachitanam, Jai Sachitanam.
Jai Sachidananda. Jai Sachidananda.
Jai Sachitan.
So,
The last time after the break, we were in page 63.
not so,
And you talk about Apta Sutra 1783, and the next paragraph starts here. Only there are who becomes there.
Perfecto.
There.
Yes, we are here.
right here, Abud?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Only the one who becomes a Buddha.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you, Fabi. Yeah, all right. That's what it is. So, let me just pull out the Gujarati, because every time I look at Gujarati, there are new things coming up. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, right. I see that. You're just one heading behind the Brazilians. So, only the one who becomes a Buddha, only the one who becomes a Buddha. Let me open up this one a little bit more. Can you see that now? Only the one who becomes a Buddha, without intellect, without use of intellect, is able to become sarva gnya. Sarva means all, gnya means to know, the knower of everything. Knower of what? All the eternal elements. We do not have to use the intellect. We, Dada and Dada Bhagwan, Gnani Purush and Dada Bhagwan, we do not have to use the intellect. We are a Buddha. Without becoming a Buddha, Keval Gnan, absolute knowledge, will never manifest.
Solo que el que se convierte en Buda es capaz de convertirse en Sarvagna, el conocedor de todos los elementos eternos. Nosotros, los Abuda, que no usamos el intelecto, no tenemos que usar, no tenemos que usar el intelecto. Nosotros somos Abuda. Sin convertirnos en Abuda, el Keval Gnan no se manifestará nunca.
Sarva Gnya means the knower of all the eternal elements. There are 6 eternal elements. And so that one who sees the eternal elements, element means tattva. Element, the other name for an element in Gujarati is tattva, tattva drashti. It's in the Charan Vidi, real swarup, a tattva swarup che, the real nature, the real state of anything, everything is elemental elements, and it's an eternal element, and therefore I see the entire world with the eternal vision. Hmm?
Sarvagna es el conocedor de todos los elementos eternos. Hay 6 elementos eternos. Entonces, estando en el estado real, elementos se dice tatua en Gujarati, y tatua drashta es el conocedor de todos los elementos. Veo el mundo eterno. Es la visión
Of the eternal.
del eterno. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Tattva Drashta means the knower of the elements, and Tattva Drashti means the vision of such a one. You see, so when it has begun within all of us, we in these satsangs we have come to realize and understand. When you see a man suddenly or a woman suddenly become very angry, when you employ the tattva drashti, the elemental vision, then you are able to see her amapura, while at the same time you become aware that the subatomic particles in her are now exploding, you see. So subatomic particles belong to the relative, the pudgal, and so it is subatomic particles rising high and then they will come down. So, so you are not affected.
Yes. Tatua Drasht es el conocedor y Tatua Drashti es la visión. La visión eterna. Entonces, cuando estamos en esta visión, podemos ver que hay una mujer que se enoja, pero vemos el alma pura y vemos que las partículas subatómicas están como explotan, ¿no? Se exponen, y ese es el pudgal. Y a nosotros no nos afecta, lo podemos observar y mantener la visión del alma pura y de lo que está sucediendo con las partículas subatómicas.
So the questioner, we do not have any intellect, we only have Gnan, sentence of Dada. Can you please explain this statement? And Dadashri replies, Keval Gnan is the original illumination. The original illumination is different from the intellect. As long as the intellect is present, Gnan cannot be realized. As long as the intellect is present, the Gnan cannot be realized, cannot happen. There is strong enmity or animosity between the intellect and Gnan. The intellect does not allow the Gnan to manifest. The intellect leads one astray. It makes one keep wandering in the worldly life. The intellect looks at only these two things: profit, loss. Not profit and loss, profit dash loss. You see, this is not a profit and loss. It looks at profit, and profit is always associated with loss. If you go for profit, there is loss built in. When you get a lot
Two
of profit,
faces of the same coin.
It's the two sides of the same coin, correct. So you don't say and. In Gujarati, there is a dash. So profit, loss, happiness, unhappiness, pleasure, pain. This is how it is. Nothing else. This is its very business. The business of the intellect is profit, loss, profit, loss, profit, loss. To look at the profit, loss. It shows where there is profit and where there is loss. Whereas moksha is beyond profit loss. Therefore, there is not an iota of intellect in us. Lord Mahavir did not have any intellect. The 24 Tirthankars, lords, did not have any intellect. Mhm. Mm.
Yes. El interlocutor. Nosotros no tenemos ningún intelecto, nosotros solo tenemos Gnan. ¿Usted, por favor, puede explicar esta afirmación? Dada. Keval Gnan es la liberación original. Esa iluminación original es diferente del intelecto. Mientras que el intelecto está presente, el Gnan no puede realizarse, no puede manifestarse. Existe una fuerte enemistad entre el intelecto y el Gnan. El intelecto no permite que el Gnan se manifieste. El intelecto nos lleva no veo nada. Por mal camino, nos hace seguir vagando en la vida mundana.
Mhm.
El intelecto solo mira las dos cosas, ganancia, pérdida. No es ganancia y pérdida, es guión, ganancia, pérdida, los dos lados de la misma moneda. Y donde hay ganancias, hay pérdidas. Y mientras moksha está más allá de la ganancia y pérdida, por lo tanto, no hay ni una pizca de intelecto en nosotros. Lord Mahavir no tenía ningún intelecto. Los 24 Lords Titankars no tenían intelecto.
Mhm. This here, one sentence, as long as there is intellect, or intellect is present, Gnan cannot be realized, Gnan cannot happen. And now, this is why in the Gnan Vidi, there is the surrender of the intellect. But you don't say, I'm surrendering the intellect. To make it simple, I say, I surrender the mind, body, and speech, you see.
Ujú,
And intellect is included in that. And for
ujú,
that much period, for an hour, if the intellect shuts up, then Gnan can happen. Gnan can come in. But if a person, say if there is a rare person who does the Gnan Vidi, but he's wondering, is this some voodoo stuff? Is this some crazy stuff going on? Then the Gnan cannot come in, you see. Mm-hmm.
ujú. Acá hay una oración de Dada que dice que mientras que el intelecto permanezca presente, el Gnan no puede manifestarse. Y dice que hay una fuerte interrupción entre el intelecto y el Gnan. El intelecto no le permite al Gnan que se manifieste de ninguna manera. Y nosotros en el Gnan rendimos, entregamos el intelecto cuando decimos entrego nuestra mente, cuerpo y habla.
Mm-hmm.
Y allí el intelecto se calla.
Mm-hmm. So, most of us realize, and we look back in our Gnan Vidi and the year following that, we were in a beautiful space. We were flying. All of us were flying. Wow, such a fantastic thing. We could not know what was happening, but that was Gnan really just dominating, within each one of us. It was beautiful period in the 1 year after Gnan. You remember that, Gabi? You remember that? Hmm? Anila,
Después del
Fabi.
Gnan, cuando rendimos la mente, el cuerpo y el habla, la sensación es de estar flotando, volando. ¿Recuerdan ustedes todo esto? Gaby, Anila, ¿recuerdan?
Yeah. We all are, yes. Yes. And so, we continue reading. Once the intellect is destroyed, Keval Gnan manifests. Now, you see, this interact destruction means in discharge also the intellect is over, it's gone. Keval Gnan, absolute knowledge, manifests. The intellect is actually darkness. The intellect is not illumination. The intellect is akin to the illumination that the blind have, similar to the blind. In other words, and the blind cannot see, and the human beings of this world who do not have self-realization cannot see. Whereas Keval Gnan is akin to the illumination that those who can see have, like you and I. We see with Gnan. We see with Gnan. When we see a beautiful tree, large, huge, big tree, we just don't see, oh, this, yes, we see this beautiful tree, but we also see, we can see all its phases. As one time it was a little plant, little, then it grew into a little small tree, and now after 100 years, this is such a big tree. And in another 100 years, it will not be there, you see. We see it will
Able
become
to see.
wood, and then it will become furniture, and etc., etc. We see.
Yes. Dice que una vez
Sorry, go ahead.
Una vez detenido el intelecto, se manifiesta el Keval Gnan. El intelecto es en realidad oscuridad. El intelecto no es iluminación. El intelecto es semejante a la iluminación que tienen los ciegos, aquellos que no han tomado conciencia del ser. Mientras que el Keval Gnan es semejante a la iluminación que tienen aquellos que pueden ver, aquellos que han tomado la conciencia del ser. Y dice el ejemplo, ¿no? Que por ejemplo vemos un árbol y vemos un árbol que es hermoso, inmenso, vemos las hojas, lo vemos íntegro, pero también podemos ver todo el proceso, ¿no? Desde cuando era un pequeño árbol que empezó a crecer y en 100 años el árbol va a estar ahí y en 200 años ya no va a estar más. Y tal vez este árbol se transforme en muebles o cualquier otra cosa.
Questioner. The illumination that the blind have is, in fact, to wander in this worldly life. It's just a statement. And the other says the intellect, verily, the intellect itself is the one causing the wandering. Look at that. Now, the finally talks about what is the reason why human beings get born, die, get born again, and they die, and they're born again, and they die.
Dice que la iluminación... sorry, continue, please.
It is indeed the one that has been making one wander for infinite lifetimes. No one else is doing that. Even though one recognizes, even though one has met the Tirthankar lords, even though one has sat with the Tirthankar lords, yet the intellect keeps making him wander. It prevents him from attaining moksha. If one understands just this mystery, his work will get sorted out, his work will be done.
El interlocutor pregunta, ¿la iluminación que tienen los ciegos es de hecho vagar en esta vida mundana? Dadashri, el intelecto mismo es el que causa el vagabundear de una vida a la otra. De hecho, es la que ha estado haciendo a uno vagar durante infinitas vidas. Nadie más está haciendo eso, aunque uno reconozca a los lores titankars, aunque uno se haya sentado con los lores titankar, el intelecto sigue haciendo vagar y le impide obtener moksha. Si uno comprende este misterio, todo quedará resuelto.
Mhm. Love this word vagabond. In English, we call it the vagabond and
Yeah.
vagabondio. You see,
Ay,
moving
yes.
about in life aimlessly, without, that's not under his control. He just goes from one life to the other.
I have a question, Shuddha.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to moksha, or moksha happens when we are not using the intellect?
Moksha has
Mhm.
happened. And moksha has happened for all of us. We
Yes,
are in moksha.
thank
And
you.
going to moksha means following agnas. When we follow agnas, that is going towards final moksha. You see, final moksha means there will be no more files, no more reason to have a body. Files make you come back in this world. Files.
Mhm.
When
Thank you.
all the external files of the family, etc., are gone, then there is a file of the body, and the file of the body is a file with desires, you see, desires and denials, hate and love. Oh, I didn't have enough time to love my son or my daughter or my wife or, etc. So he has to come back. See, so.
Okay.
Mhm, mhm,
Le pregunté a Shuddha si nosotros vamos a moksha o estamos en moksha o ahora. Entonces dice que sí, que nosotros estamos en estado de moksha, pero ir a moksha quiere decir eh, cuando ya se terminan todos los archivos, los files, se terminan todos los deseos, los deseos también son archivos, ¿no? Archivos del cuerpo, el amor, el odio, el pensar que no tuve suficiente tiempo para estar con mi familia, con mi hijo. Todos esos son apegos que nos hacen volver a reencarnar.
mhm. Yes. So each and every Mahatma in this satsang is in moksha. See, there's a lot of troubles maybe going on in the world outside or in the mind or in the body, but the Mahatma is in moksha. Mahatma knows that this other thing that is going on is a changing situation, is a changing circumstance. And Mahatma knows Mahatma's attention is not caught up in that. He says, it's there, it's there, it's there, it's there. You see?
Mhm.
Some don't have enough money, some don't have, so many things going on in life, some in the life, being in this life with this body means to be part of the effect of hunger, effect of satisfaction, etc.
Nosotros todos estamos, de hecho, en moksha ahora. Y todo lo que sucede, podemos ver que está ahí. Puede ser que van a seguir existiendo los problemas o las situaciones. Puede ser dinero, puede ser cualquier cosa, pero lo vemos y lo vemos como, oh, está ahí.
Yeah.
Y esta vida y es descarga de efectos, ¿no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very beautiful sentence coming up. Do you not use the intellect in any situation is referred to as abudta, the state of being abud.
Ujú.
He said this sentence is very critical. The situation is what happens to the mind, to the body, or through words. It creates your situation. You say avastha, avastha. It's an important word, avastha. Avastha, so situation means avastha, avastha. Now, let me, I'm going to stop sharing this because this is important. The reason I say this is going to come up again and again. Avastha, 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 okay, is a situation. Avastha. And as opposed to that, there is the sanjog, sanjog or sanyog. And that means circumstance, you see. Now, what is the difference between a situation and a circumstance? Circumstances are like they're outside you, essentially. The way I look at it, circumstance is a circumstance of rain, circumstance of sunlight. You see, things are happening outside. It doesn't touch you. Whereas if anything that comes together, and happens and it touches you somewhere in file 1, then it's become a situation for you, an avastha, you see. Thank you, Marcela. Yeah.
Avastha quiere decir situación y sanjog es una circunstancia. Las circunstancias están afuera, es algo bueno, puede haber más, menos luz, puede estar sucediéndole a otra persona, pero no te toca a ti. Y avastha es situación, y la situación es cuando sucede algo que sí te toca. Le toca al file 1, ¿no?
Or in the relative. So now you see, the reason I give you this avastha is because there is an A in front of, let me give you the exact word so you'll understand, or in the relative. I'm putting this in the chat, in the relative. It means healthy. Right. You see, so now swa, all of you know, you and I all know swa. Swa means self. You see, and swastha, swastha is a Hindi word, is a Gujarati word too. Swastha means in the relative, when you say, get hold of yourself, be calm, you may be upset. From being upset, you become calm. That is called swastha. You are now not disturbed, you see, swastha. You see a person crying and then all the tears get wiped off and she blows her nose and then she's back to where she was, right? That is, a while ago she was very upset and now she has regained some control. She has calmed down. That is in the relative. But the real meaning of swastha means to become fixed in the Amapura, come home, final home. So swastha,
Swa,
so these are all Sanskrit based words. Swastha means established as and / in the self, you see, come home, That's the real meaning of swastha. You see, swastha. And therefore, the real meaning of aswastha or avastha, when you become upset, you are now in a situation, you see. You are in the situation of Shuddha being upset or, Gabi being upset, or Reinheld being upset. Now she has gone out of the swastha, the self, into Reinheld. I'm upset. I am unhappy, you see. Swasth, aswasth. Swasth is healthy, good, fine, calm. aswas means disturbed, you see? You see?
Ujú.
Yeah.
Acá hay dos palabras que nos ayudan y dice que swas, que es el ser, y swastha es en lo relativo. Por ejemplo, alguien está molesto, enojado, y tú le dices, y de alguna manera se dice o le dicen que se calme, ¿no? O se está llorando, después viene la calma. Entonces es como que está en calma y vuelve al hogar, como vuelve al alma pura. Entonces es establecerse en el ser, ¿no? Como volver a conectar con el alma pura. Entonces está swastha y avastha. Avastha es la situación, ¿no?
Mm-hmm. And therefore now we begin to say swa, versus aswas. You say aswastha, avastha. When you are in swa, everything is cool, everything is home, everything is steady, everything is seen as it is. You see, to see everything as it is to be not disturbed. Is instead of seeing, you become the sufferer. Oh, I'm so upset. I don't feel good. Now, Shuddha is not feeling good. Carlos is not feeling good. But you say, I am not feeling good. And that's, you just jumped out of the boat into the water, you see.
Ujú. Entonces tenemos estas dos palabras, swa y swastha. Swa es ver cómo son las cosas, ver lo que está sucediendo ahí, estás en el alma pura. Pero cuando decís, hoy me duele la cabeza, hoy estoy molesto, tal persona, tal cosa, ahí estás en aswastha.
Yes.
Perdón, Patri, hay una sutil diferencia que por ahí no la ves porque está chiquitito en el chat. Y
Ujú.
todo lo mismo, pero con minúscula y mayúscula. Cuando lo pone con mayúscula es que estamos en calma en el ser. Pero también existe swastha en minúscula, que es cuando estamos simplemente tranquilos en lo relativo y vemos las cosas como son. Y estamos perturbados con la A adelante. Siempre que está la A adelante falta todo lo demás. Es decir, están las dos partes.
Gracias.
Yeah.
No
No, de
tengo
nada,
el
no.
chat, no lo puedo
No,
ver.
está
Sí,
claro,
gracias.
sí.
Yeah. Yes, and thank you. And the other thing is, you see, the differentiation, the separation of the relative has happened for only Mahatmas. This is when you say relative, it means you are in the real. You see, when I say it's relative, that means I'm not there. I'm in the real. I know that Shuddha or I know that Fabi or Gonzalo are disturbed. You see, I am not disturbed, So in other words, you're Swastha, you're in the self, and you have become aware of the aswastha. Aswastha, aswastha means the perturbed, like, perturbed or perturbado. Okay, what Marcella has written, perturbed or you're disturbed, right? Aswastha. Or it makes, you see, it's a situation. You get absorbed in the situation. You get totally involved in the situation, avastha, you see. So, avastha is an important word, we have a Gnanvidhi sentence which says avastha matra કુદરતી રચના છે જેનો કોઈ બાપોય રચનાર નથી અને તે વ્યવસ્થિત છે. In other words, every situation is a natural construct of which there is no overhead superior doing it, and it is exactly vyavasthit. So the moment you or I become disturbed, that is vyavasthit. The disturbance that happens to you or I is vyavasthit. You see, it is the only difference is we are aware that this is happening to Luz. The Shuddha to Rosie is not happening to You see, knowing part is the only role of ours. And the disturbance will come like a storm, and then the storm quietens down. You see, in the same thing, in the same way, the disturbances arise and they go away, you see.
Swastha es cuando estás perturbado, ¿no? Y estás absorbido por la situación. Pero sabemos desde lo real que todo esto es yavastit. Y podemos ver que esto le está pasando a todas estas situaciones son concernientes al file one. Y sabemos que, como todo, esto viene y luego se va. Es como una tormenta.
Yeah. So you see, this avastha situations will arise of countless, you see, varieties in your life, my life, each one of us, you see, different situations. And the disturbances will arise because in situations, if you get involved, then you will be disturbed. If you don't get involved, you will still be aware that it's not right. You see, even if you don't get involved, you know it's happening. You know it's happening. It's happening inside. But in every situation that arises, slowly and slowly, this Gnan that you and I are accumulating every Wednesday inside, this Gnan that is rising within each one of us, is making us slowly and surely, absolutely untouched, near lap. It doesn't smear us, it doesn't touch us, see? And that is the beauty of it. Whereas the entire rest of the world gets pulled down into it, you see, get involved in it.
Yes. Dice, vemos que las situaciones vienen, porque suceden, las ves y estás bien con lo que puede ser que no estés bien o no estés de acuerdo, pero no te involucras. Este Nan puede ser lento, pero es seguro. Y nada de lo que suceda nos toca, es nirlip. Y esto es lo más bello para nosotros.
And there is one more thing that I wrote that has been written in the chat. And there
Hay algo que
is,
está escrito en el chat.
when you understand the word avastha, you know, I mean, 5 minutes ago, say you were fine, and then something arises, and there is a situation that happens, that is there, has arisen, right? In front of you. Either it may be in the body, it may be in the mind, or you get a phone call, right? A situation has arisen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the human beings of the world have no choice. They automatically are the owners of that situation. Oh, horrible thing happened. You know, they just leave everything and they don't know what to do, etc., right? It's a situation. It's avastha. What is it that makes them get involved in that situation? And that's the sentence in front of us, you see. Intellect jumps into the situation. Who? Me? What? What happened? I am upset. Why didn't they do it right? You see? So people jump into that situation even if they don't want to jump into the situation because their intellect is active. You know, nothing happens to the cows and the dogs and the, on the streets, in the farm. They just look at what's going on. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Surge el avastar, ¿no? Surgen las situaciones y surgen por la mente, el cuerpo o el habla. Y los que no tienen el Gnan, no tienen opción, ¿no? De poder, sí, no tienen opción. Y lo que ven ellos, es que son los dueños, esto me está pasando a mí, esto es algo horrible, ¿qué es lo que está sucediendo? Y qué es lo que los hace involucrar, ¿no? Saltar a interferir ahí. Es el intelecto que dice, ¿qué es lo que está sucediendo? ¿Cómo está sucediendo? ¿Por qué está sucediendo? Y todo esto es por el intelecto activo. Si nosotros observamos, a los animales esto no le pasa y es porque no tienen intelecto.
And we have now arrived in our ongoing series of satsangs to the level of, at least in certain situations and you know, and then circumstances, but we say circumstances of the mind, circumstances of the body, circumstances of speech. Man vachan kayani avastha. Man vachan kayani avastha. We say avastha. But sanyogo matra viyogi svabhavna cha. Sanyog means a circumstance. Whatever circumstance arises is only our circumstance, every circumstance, each and every circumstance of life in front of us, by nature is one that has, by nature is one that is going to dissipate, is going to assimilate, and then it's going to dissipate, it's going to go away, you see. So the more you and I begin to understand this first, and then the application of the Gnan is there through our awareness, you see. The more and more we rise into our knowing, knower state, sarvagnya. So it is,
Yes.
go on.
Cuando las circunstancias van a surgir y van a surgir en la vida, circunstancias que perturban, y por esta misma naturaleza como surgen, también luego se disipan. Entonces, estamos hablando de las circunstancias vienen y se disipan. Entonces, cuando mayor entendimiento tenemos y aplicamos el Gnan, entonces vemos que cómo surge el estado del conocimiento, sarvagnya,
Yeah.
¿no? Ver que las cosas aparecen en este entendimiento de no involucrarnos y con el Gnan se disuelven, se disipan y no nos involucramos.
Yeah. For us, Dada says, the moment we attain a Buddha state at this end, in other words, in this particular life, at this end, from this end, there at the other end, the Sarvagna state became visible. At least I know now it's right there. It's not yet being experienced. I can experience a little bit only, but I know that as I'm now approaching absolute state, Keval Gnan, and then it will, therefore it will definitely emerge as an experience, you see.
Ujú. Acá hay una oración que dice que desde el momento que tuvimos
Sorry, go on.
I can read what you was
Okay, yeah, sure.
here. Para nosotros, desde el momento que obtuvimos Abudar, el estado de Abudar, esto termina allí. Y en el opuesto, y termina en el opuesto de Sarvagna, el estado de volverte visible. Nosotros definitivamente emerge en nosotros.
Yes. You see, so essentially, this particular thing, this first thing here about Abhutata and Sarvagnya is what's covered in the last para, and not last, Parayana up to volume 14, volume 3. As you know, in the Parayan in December, we are doing volume 4 of Davani 14, you see. Yeah, just for your information, this was covered in the Parayan, you know. Now,
Esto fue cubierto en el Parayam del Davani 14.
now Dada speaks about himself. He says, I have failed by 4 degrees in reaching Keval Gnan. That is why I have to sit with you like this in satsang. Had I not failed, I would have attained moksha. I would have gone straight up, you see. But I failed in the 4th era of the time cycle. And I always get...
So I had to come to this 5th era.
So I had to come to this 5th era of the time cycle. You see, this tells us that Dada was in the 4th era of the time cycle at the time when there are Tirthankars present. You see, 4th era of every time cycle, there are living Tirthankars, you see, fully enlightened ones. He slipped from that era and he came into the 5th era of the time cycle, which is where there is no living Tirthankar, you know. There is no living Tirthankar on this earth anymore, you see. There is a difference of just 4 degrees. That is why I worship Dada Bhagwan like this, joining the hands together and bowing down in reverence. You see, I worship. This is how he worships Dada. You see, Dada worships, you see, because he says, he says, I have to complete those 4 degrees, don't I?
Acá Dada dice, yo he fallado por 4 grados en obtener el Kevalnan. Por eso tengo que sentarme aquí con ustedes. Si no hubiera fracasado, habría obtenido moksha, pero fracasé en la 4ª era del ciclo del tiempo. En esa 4ª era, los Tintankars estaban absolutamente iluminados y aquí en la Tierra. Así que tuve que venir a esta 5ª era del ciclo temporal y hay una diferencia de solo 4 grados. Por eso adoro a Dada Bhagwan y de esta manera, juntando las manos e inclinándome en reverencia, tengo que completar esos 4 grados. ¿No es así?
No.
Yeah.
Now Dada Bhagwan has manifested within, but why is there a separation remaining between him and me? The answer to that is there are times when we are separate and there are times when we become one. Now the reason that a separation remains is that there is a difference between him and me. He is at 360 and I am at 356. So to the extent of those 4 degrees, I receive additional illumination from him. I receive additional illumination from him. Now that lack of illumination is not preventing me from knowing anything regarding this world. The shortage is only in the degrees of Keval Gnan. Keval Gnan has come into my understanding. Moreover, Keval Gnan is present for me, but I'm not able to digest it, you see. And so these 4 degrees, they help for us for this. They help for this. So what exactly am I doing to Dada Bhagwan? What I'm saying is that when I put my hands together like this, I bow down to Dada Bhagwan, and then at that time the roses and the flowers in the form of Gnan that are within begin to blossom. Is there anything harmful in this? Go on. Let you read this.
Ahora Ahora Dada Bhagwan se ha manifestado en mi interior, pero ¿por qué sigue habiendo una separación entre él y yo? La respuesta es que hay momentos en que los que estamos separados, hay momentos y hay momentos.
¿Querés que lea, Patri, y vos seguís
Ay, por favor,
traduciendo?
porque tengo la pantalla partida, por favor, sí.
Dale. Ahora Dada
Gracias.
Bhagwan se ha manifestado en mi interior, pero ¿por qué sigue habiendo una separación entre él y yo? La respuesta es que hay momentos en los que estamos separados y hay momentos en los que incluso nos convertimos en uno. Ahora bien, la razón de que siga habiendo una separación es que hay una diferencia entre él y yo. Él está a 360 grados y yo estoy a 356 grados. Así que en la medida de esos 4 grados, recibo iluminación adicional de él. Ahora bien, esa falta de iluminación no me impide saber nada con respecto a este mundo. La escasez es solo en los grados del Keval-Nan. El Keval-Nan ha llegado a mi entendimiento. Además, el Keval-Nan está presente para mí, pero yo no soy capaz de digerirlo, de experimentarlo plenamente. Así que esos 4 grados ayudan para esto. Entonces, ¿qué es exactamente lo que yo le estoy haciendo a Dada Bhagwan? ¿Qué estoy diciendo yo cuando junto mis manos de esta manera? Cuando yo digo esto, me inclino ante Dada Bhagwan, entonces las rosas y las flores en la forma del Nan que están dentro empiezan a florecer. ¿Hay algo dañino o malo en esto?
Divino.
Thank you. All right, so uh, let's take a break here. Hold on. And I'll
Okay.
be right back. I need to check something. As I told you, I need to see if I have more time.
Okay.
I mean, but I'll be back. I'll be back in about, I'll be back during the break and let you know how this is going on for me.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll be.
Vamos a tomar un recreo que Shuddha tiene que chequear algo, a ver si puede seguir con el satsang y cuánto tiempo. Y viene. 10 minutes, Shuddha.
Yeah, 10
O-
minutes. Yeah. All right.
alrededor de 10 minutos. Thank you, Shuddha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Sachidanand.
Gracias, Gaby.
Jai Sachidanand.
Fabi.
No problema, hermosa.
Bueno, vamos al recreo.
Okay, so we have enough time, so we will continue with our satsang now.
Yes. Vamos a continuar con el satsang. ¿Tiene tiempo suficiente? Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So let us get back to where we were.
¿Seguís leyendo vos, Fabi? Por favor.
Yes,
O
Fabi.
otra
Dale,
persona.
yo leo y vos traducís.
Dale, gracias, corazón.
Okay. So one says, this is easy, isn't it, in terms of
In the end,
yeah,
the questioner
this
says
is easy. Like it's so
nothing.
easy. Yeah, when you put your hands like this and go like this, the flower starts blossoming from inside. Before they were unblossomed, buds of roses, and then they start blossoming from inside. It's so simple. Dada Bhagwan Nasim Jijikar Ho. Oh, my Lord, be in me. I love you. I just want to be with you. I want to see what you see. I do not want to see with the intellect. All of those things are very magnificent, you see.
Ujú. Acá dice que cuando él se inclina ante el Lord y junta sus manos, las rosas y las flores, las que no florecieron, florecen dentro de él.
Mhm. Mhm.
Eh,
Mhm.
y eso.
Y que nosotros hagamos lo mismo, así con las manos apuntando
Claro.
hacia nuestro pecho. Y
Y
que con
digamos,
solo pedir, claro.
Dadavaguam, yo
Yeah.
te amo, por favor no me permitas ver otra cosa que a ti. Quiero estar contigo.
Because the source, the fountainhead, the original source of all beautiful and magnificent energies it lies inside. It doesn't exist with the mind, body, or words. It is inside. And that is what is absolutely beautiful. That converts all negativities into beautiful things, you see.
Y esta esencia, esta luz interna, no existe con la mente y el intelecto, es la propia esencia, la luz. Y todo lo que nosotros miramos, que es negativo, se transforma en algo hermoso.
So the questioner replies, nothing at all, Dada. I mean, it's so easy. Dada, she says, Dada Bhagwan has manifest within. This that you see in front of you is not Dada Bhagwan. This is actually Ambalal Patel. We, totally separate, are a Gnani Purush. We means Dada, the Gnani Purush in Satsang, and Dada Bhagwan, the silent one, inside. You see? Moreover, what kind of a Gnani are we? The kind in whom there is not even a trace of intellect. When the intellect is not used at all, and when the ego is eradicated, that is when all of Keval Gnan will be continuously seen. And, and we'll talk about this in a minute. Go on.
Entonces el interrogador dice, nada de eso es difícil. Y Dada contesta, Dada Bhagwan se ha manifestado en el interior. Esto, el cuerpo físico que está frente a ti, no es Dada Bhagwan. Esto es en realidad Ambalal Patel. Nosotros, el Nani y Dada Bhagwan, somos un Gnani Purush. Es más, ¿qué clase de Nani somos nosotros? La clase en la que no hay ni rastro de intelecto. Cuando el intelecto no se utiliza en absoluto, cuando el ego es erradicado, es cuando todo el Keval será continuamente visto.
This part about Because intellect and ego are so connected, even a little bit of intellect will dig up the subtle intellect from inside, you see, in the form of kashais. And even if there are no kashais, then there is, beyond kashais, there is the pota panu, the I-ness, I-ness. You can't let go. That I am Patricia, I am Fabi, you see. That pota panu, I-ness, you see, that is the subtlest ego, subtler ego, and that has to go too. And that is all, that will all go with the loss of intellect, you see.
Ujú. El intelecto y el ego están absolutamente conectados y de ahí surgen los kashais y el egoísmo. El egoísmo, decir yo soy Patricia, yo soy Fabi. Y cuando están disolviéndose el intelecto y el ego, todavía queda un ego sutil, más sutil.
Mhm.
¿Qué es esto? La creencia de yo soy Patricia o yo soy Fabiana.
Mhm. Now
Sí,
this
Aunque los
dominio.
calláis desaparezcan, ¿no? Sigue permaneciendo eso.
Now this next paragraph, this next little paragraph is very magnificent, because this one here is not in Aptavanis, has never been disclosed in any of the printed versions of the Aptavanis or previous Dadavanis. This is the first time it's coming out, and it's from a cassette material, like we have a lot of cassettes that have not yet come out, you see, for whatever
Esto que
reason.
vamos, esto que vamos a ver ahora no está en ningún Aptavani, no está en ningún lado, es la primera vez que sale a la luz y esto estaba en los cassettes grabados.
Uh-huh. And it requires a little correction. I will give it to you in a minute. No, but let's first read it. When we give you Gnan, we will give you Keval Gnan, absolute knowledge. However, it does not get digested for you, you see. This is wrong. My version of the translation is correct, but it's not here. You are working with the older translation. You see, if digest means, fully digest means it comes into experience, you see. And the understanding is happening right now. For us, all the understanding is in this reading and to acceptance of the words of Dada, you see. So, it has reached up to 356 degrees for us in 1958. In fact, it went up to 360 and then it slipped to 356 for Dada. So, it remove the word can, it reaches up to 325 degrees for you. I'm giving you the exact translation. So get rid of this word can. Okay. So now read it. Okay.
Cuando nosotros te damos Gnan, nosotros te estamos dando Keval Gnan, el absoluto conocimiento. Sin embargo, ustedes no pueden digerirlo plenamente. Y está todo corrigiéndolo de acuerdo a la traducción de Shuddha. Entonces, llegó hasta 356 grados para nosotros, y él dice, en realidad llegó a 360 y después bajó a 356 para él en 1958. Y así es que para nosotros llega a 325 grados.
I'm a very big fan and an absolute believer in the words of Gnani Purush Dadashri. Okay. I take them for as they are. I'm sharing with you as they are. He is saying
Lo que
that
Shuddha quiere compartir con nosotros es que él es realmente un fanático de la palabra de Dada. Por eso le gusta tanto ir al detalle para que se traduzca exactamente lo que él dijo.
yeah. So here are these words. Dada says, he opened his eyes after 1958, when whatever happened at that time, and he found himself at 356 degrees. Likewise, when we open our eyes, we, in the Gnan Vidhi, we are placed by Dada at 325 degrees. Okay? Now, what does this mean? We are already at 325 if we understand the beauty of what has happened to us, if we remain in the agnas that he has given. So if we follow the Gnan Vidhi, exactly, not just speaking the words in the Gnan Vidhi, but also the understanding and the application of the five agnas, then we are at 325. Slipping out of it, of course, the avastha is entering into the situation that doesn't belong to us, which belongs to Gabi or to Shuddha or to Patri, getting upset, you see. It is Patri that is getting upset, not you and I, you see.
Data abrió sus ojos en 360 grados en 1958. Nosotros y también, si abrimos nosotros nuestros ojos, vamos a hacer el Gnan, fuimos colocados por Dada en 325 grados. Y así, siguiendo el Gnan y permaneciendo en las agnas, entendiéndolas, es como nos mantenemos y seguimos creciendo en esto. Pero pues nos salimos del lugar cuando interferimos, cuando creemos que cuando surge una situación y nos involucramos.
It is not a matter of can. It's not a matter of your ability. It is you and I are there. Okay? Somebody asks you, are you at 325? And the answer is yes, because I'm in agnas. With agna of Dada, I am at 325. With agna, there is no kashai. With agna, there is no interference. You see?
Si nos preguntan acá, cuando dice tú puedes alcanzarlo, y no es así, nosotros estamos ahí si seguimos las 5 agnas y si permanecemos en el Gnan.
This is very, very important, okay? Because otherwise you can read the entire 325 and, it's a question of if and when and, what we are going in the details of the 325 Dadavani is to understand the havoc and the dangers of the intellect that interferes, you see. And, and Dada, even as we read further into this Dadavani and the next one that I hope to accomplish with you, the next Dadavani that I want to take up with you is April of 2025. You see, it's already there with you. Your team should start translating it in English and Portuguese, English and Portuguese. It is magnificent, and it is a continuation of this, even going higher and higher up the mountain with Dada. Not him ahead of us, he takes us with us. Come, come, come. Gabi, come. Fabi, come. Patricia, come. See, see, see.
Yes, of course, now. Yes. Esto de poder entender que para permanecer en las agnas, ¿no? Y seguir entendiendo y profundamente. Y cuando interfieres y cuando hay calláis, eso es el peligro del intelecto con el cual interfiero. Es entender el peligro del intelecto cuando interfiero, ¿no? Estando en 325 grados. Y vamos a ver próximamente, próximo Dadavani de abril 2025, que va a ser traducido al español y al portugués, que continúa hablando de esto y es maravilloso. Y así Dada continúa
Yeah,
llamándonos,
so
que
that is the
vayamos
new
con él.
material, you see, that we just read. Now, we give the knowledge of the self to all of you. Everyone.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, right. It's continuing now. Let's see here, continuing. I'm just also simultaneously reading the Gujarati, just wanting to make sure that I to cover everything because there's so much, And excuse me, I need to take that phone call. Hold on.
Yes, va a atender un llamado.
Permiso, Patri, ya que
Hello.
va a atender un llamado.
Hello.
Hay una parte con... no lo podemos mutear.
कैसे हैं मोर?
Hay una parte como muy sutil que no quiere que tengamos la idea de que tenemos que hacer algo para llegar a 325, sino que estamos en 325 y nos deslizamos o nos movemos cada vez que usamos el intelecto. Pero no es que podemos llegar, ya nos puso ahí.
Box.
Dadani Nambidi.
That's the safe deposit box. This is the account. Yeah, we talked about, we talked about. No, yeah, okay, all right, okay, thank you. I'll see you when I can get there. Okay, so we're back. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
All right. So now Dadashri says, when we give you the knowledge of the self, when we give you the knowledge of the self.
I can hear you. I can listen.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to make sure that this sentence is in a correct translation.
Gujarati, por eso tarda.
Yeah, because this is from Davadavani 13 now, તમને બધાને આત્માનું જ્ઞાન આપીએ છીએ એ બધાને આત્મા અનુભવ છે સબને. It should be a comma here. We give you the knowledge to all of you. We give you the knowledge of the self to all of you, and that is the experience of the self. Yeah. And that is the experience of the self for everyone, each according to his own level. You see, in other words, this knowledge of the self that we receive in the Gnana is the experience of the self. And this experience of the self, this is the critical thing, is the experience of the self, which is varying according to a Mahatma's level, but the experience of the self has occurred. This is what Dadashri is trying to emphasize to all of us. It's no longer a conviction that Swayam Apura. It's no longer an awareness that I'm Apura. It is the experience of the self that I am trying to emphasize here. Okay, good. Go ahead, Fabi.
Aquí claramente dice, nosotros les damos el conocimiento del ser a todos ustedes. Y en vez de un punto debería ser una coma. Y es la experiencia del ser. Cada uno que los recibe esta experiencia según su propio nivel. Y no estamos hablando de conocimiento ni de convicción, estamos hablando de la experiencia del ser en ese preciso instante en el que nos la entrega. A medida que uno obtiene un poco de experiencia del ser, su trabajo continuará haciéndose.
And therefore, because of this experience that has now arisen inside each one of us, you see, even though it is little, it keeps on increasing, and his work of liberation will continue to get done. So all of us are guaranteed liberation because something very special has happened, you see. It is beyond words. It is something which is beyond words, which is called the E-capital experience of the self has taken hold within each one of us in the Gnan Vidhi, okay? And now the Vignan starts. The Vignan means the science is in operation. You don't have to do anything. Just see the real and the relative and the vyavasthit and you're done.
Bueno, la experiencia del ser que tuvimos va a seguir creciendo y por eso mismo está garantizada la liberación para todos nosotros. Es esta experiencia del ser, no es el conocimiento ni el entendimiento, es esta experiencia que hemos tenido. Y ahora el Vignan está operando.
See, Gnan means you have to do something.
Knowledge.
Knowledge. And knowledge means you have to do something. But Vignan, Vignan is beyond knowledge, you see. Vignan is invisible. Vignan, people cannot see. Vignan can be experienced when somebody shouts at you, insults you in front of 100 people, and nothing happens to you. And you don't hit back. Vignan is in operation. Vignan is that which in Vignan lifts you up, you see. Vignan lifts you and I up.
Ujú. Y ahora dice que es por el Gnan, el Vignan es invisible y es una experiencia. Es cuando es estar separado y cuando alguien viene o nos insulta o pasa algo, no devolvemos y no hay reacción. Y ese es el Vignan operando.
Yes. So now, after the experience of the self, okay, and all of this material now, this entire paragraph is Aptavani 13, volume 2, okay, very advanced level Aptavani. He says, first he says, when you give you the Gnan, okay, the first part is giving, okay, and then second is after the Gnan Vidhi. So this is the after the Gnan Vidhi part, okay, that we are reading. After the experience of the self in the Gnan Vidhi, after the experience of self increases, it reaches 25, 35 or 45, 40%. There is no trace of intellect in it. In that experience, there is no intellect in it at 25, 35, 45. Now, this part is in Aptavani 13. This above is not. You see, this one is very separate. Somehow it never, for whatever reason, let's call it Vyavasthit, it wasn't there, you see, in the Parayan. In the Parayan, this sentence above, this sentence was not, these two sentences were not there, especially this first sentence. This is, especially the sentence about the 325 degrees, you see, was not there. This one, you see. You understand?
Ujú. Dice que
Go on, after the
después,
experience.
el primer párrafo habla de dar la experiencia y acá habla de luego de dar la experiencia, el ser se incrementa. Y después de alcanzar los 325, 300, estos 35 o 45, ahí no hay rastro de intelecto.
Now, it's kind of interesting because Dada starts off by saying, after it reaches 25. So at 25, and then it just says generally 30 to 40. So beyond 25, there is no trace of intellect. The intellect will definitely go away at 25%.
Sorry, but isn't it different between 25% and 325 degrees?
No, yeah, it's the same thing. He means 325 degrees, you see. What he meant was, which is, you see, this is kind of interesting. It's a good question that you put, Fabi. What he's saying is,
I think the word percent
Espera que está
Mm-hmm.
maybe degrees, no?
it's not, it's the same thing. What Dada is saying is, to the extent that the intellect leaves, that is the experience of the self. Intellect prevents Gnan. Intellect blocks Gnan. So, when it reaches 25% of Gnan, when your Gnan without at the degrees, when you come to 325 degrees of Gnan, experience of the Gnan, 325 degrees is actually the experience of the Gnan. 345 is the experience of the Gnan. 356 is the experience of the Gnan. So when the experience of the Gnan that is there in, Dada says it is there at 325 when we open our eyes in the Gnan Vidhi. If the Gnan Vidhi has happened beautifully, and that means you repeated the sentences, you surrendered your intellect and mind, and you repeated the sentence properly, and you understood the agnas precisely, you see, understanding. Now you are at 325. Now, there is no kashai there. At 325, there is no intellect. Kashai in the discharge is not considered kashai. It is considered like and dislike. Don't like it, I like it. That's it. You see, it is not considered hate or abhorrence, you see, or attachment. You understand? This is separated. That which is separated permanently in the Gnanvidhi can never be considered yours anymore. You see? This is where Dada wants us to begin with the experience of the self, with the agna that is applied through the experience of the self that begins. You see? And in that experience where there is no intellect being used through the Gnanvidhi, you are at 325, period. When you are in agnas, you are at 325. That is what Dada is trying to say in the previous paragraph. You see? And then from 325 onwards, it is 320, 45, 335, 345, whatever, okay? 340, it just keeps on increasing, you see? And in fact, at 325, there is not even a trace of intellect in you, you see?
In 345, zero ego, intellect, you said?
345.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, at 325, the intellect is gone, definitely goes away. And when the experience of the goes up to 325%, right? 325 degrees, 325%. That's what confused Gabi. It's the same thing. 325%, 325, he meant 325 degrees. This is because the intellect is of no help to him thereafter, is it? On the contrary, it will interfere with his progress. You understand, Gabi? Still have any question?
It is not that clear. I understand everything regarding degrees, but I am not sure if 25 degrees, because percent, which is 100%. When are we in 100%?
Keval Gnan, absolute knowledge. It's 100.
And it would be in 360 degrees.
Yeah. 350
100% is 360 degrees.
360 degrees. And
Okay.
and 10% is, you go from 300 to 60 degrees. In those 60 degrees, you divide 10%, 20%, 30%.
Okay.
Like that.
Let me translate that.
Yeah.
Lo que yo le pregunté era si, porque ahí veía la palabra porcentaje y no la palabra grados. Entonces él fue diciendo que era más o menos lo mismo, pero en realidad el 100% de los grados es Keval Gnan, y ese 100% estaría en 360 grados. Entonces es más o menos ir haciendo una regla de tres simple, entre los grados y el porcentaje. Pero bueno, básicamente uno está donde hay que estar cuando están los agnas. Cuando estás en los agnas, estás en los 325 grados, ahí no hay interferencia. Y a partir de ahí, solo es me gusta o no me gusta, pero no hay ni odio, ni aborrecimiento, ni nada, porque ya estamos más livianos y no hay tanta interferencia. Thank you, Shuddha. Thank you for the explanation.
También dice que cuando estás en los 325 grados siguiendo las agnas sin intelecto, no hay kashais, y porque no tampoco porque los kashais a partir de eso están vistos como una descarga, porque es una descarga sin apego ni aversión.
Yeah, I see, when you look at it mathematically, you see, if you divide 60 degrees by 4, okay, then 25 degrees is 315 degrees, you see, all right, you know what I mean? And 50% is 330 degrees, you know what I mean? So it doesn't, the math doesn't fit, because Dada says I place you somewhere beyond 303 degrees. At other places he says, so I think it makes sense if he says that after the Gnanvidi we are at 310. So now 50 degrees are left. You see, 360 minus 10 is 50 degrees. And 25% of 50 is 325. You understand?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that is how it is. But in all of this discussion that we have read so far, Dada has not mentioned the bottom, which is it 300 or 310 that we start with? You see, what he's just saying is you are at 325 when there is no intellect. Well, intellect is not there when the agnas are in application. And there are Mahatmas who start applying the agnas from day one. Okay, so such a Mahatma is in 325. His intellect is not being applied. And also, furthermore, in further reading of the same Dadavani, as we go into the higher Dadavani, there is really no interference. It is just the belief that I interfered. That's the problem, you see. So I think that Dada's really has placed us at 325 with the agnas, not just only the Gnanvidi, but only the speaking part of the Gnanvidi, but also the agnas. With the agnas, we are at 325.
Dice, cuando cuando las agnas están presentes, no existe el intelecto, no interfiero. Y puede ser que esté interfiriendo, pero es solo la creencia de que estoy interfiriendo. Pero con el Gnan y las agnas estamos en 325 grados. Ahí nos colocó Dada.
You see, so he begins by saying in here that and when he says the intellect will definitely go away at 325 when the experience of the goes up to 325, you see. So this, he's saying the experience of the self goes up 325%, 225%, you see. So what he has said elsewhere, and I have personally not yet come across my own self, for my own eyes I have not come across, but our Gnani Deepak Bhai says that we all get the experience of the self by 2%, you see, in the Gnanvidi, 2%.
Yes.
So the experience is there. Now from 2, he says you have to go to 25% when the intellect will not be there, you see. But all of that is not taking into account the fact that the agnas are being followed. Following the agna, there is no intellect. In agna, whenever and whoever is applying the agnas, there is no intellect. There is no use of the intellect. Intellect cannot come in and interfere in agna vision. That is the beautiful beauty of our agna vision.
Yes.
You know, when you say vyavasthit, intellect and everything is out of the window, thrown out. When you say it's all real, this is real and everything else is not real, everything else is changing, destructible, vinashi, transient, irrelevant, not I shouldn't use the word irrelevant, not real and not forever. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anyway, so here these are all, we can't apply exact mathematics here. Only thing is we need to know that the experience of the self has to come to 325. How will you know the experience of the self has come to 325? Two ways. One, agnas are being followed, or number two, there is no interference from the intellect. At the relative level, you say the intellect does not interfere, whereas in the real sense, you say, I am in agnas, right? I'm in agnas, you know.
Ujú.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Acá dice que Dada nos dio la experiencia del Shuddha dice que la palabra exacta de Dada es que nos dio la experiencia del ser en un 2% en el Nan-Vidi. Ese 2% es llevarlo a 325. Y no se trata de ser llevado a una cuenta, se trata de seguir las acnas sin el intelecto. Entonces, cuando estás en la visión de las acnas, no hay intelecto. Y podemos ver desde allí que todo es yavastit. Y cuando vemos que todo es yavastit, el intelecto es arrojado fuera de la ventana. Y sabemos que es real y que todo lo demás que está sucediendo afuera no es real. Esta es la experiencia de estar, del ser en 325 grados. Seguir las agnas y el intelecto no interfiere.
Yeah, you see, so they're making very fine slices of something that is so easy. I mean, this whole exercise. Yeah, this ultimately gives us the importance of the agnas. You see, how do I stop the intellect from interfering? The final bottom line is, are you in agnas? Who is asking this question? How do I stop from interfering? Well, who are you? Who
Yes.
are you, And why are you
Yes.
asking this question? If you're asking this question, you should already know that you are in the wrong place, You should say.
Dada decía, y esto tuvimos la experiencia todos, ¿no? En el Nanvidi, cuál es la importancia de las agnas, poder ver. Y la pregunta que siempre hacen es cuando tenés el intelecto interfiere o algo así es, ¿quién eres tú? Y ahí inmediatamente volvés a las agnas.
Yeah, and coming back to this original magnificence.
I remember in our Nan, the Gnani said that the importance of the agnas is the protection to be in the self.
Yeah,
Agnas
right.
protects.
It's a Dada.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what Dada has said. You say, now I'm going to give you, now I'm
yes.
going to give you. Listen to this agnas very critical, because this is the fence that will protect your newly awakened state. You have
Yes, that's
now,
the exact word, the
yeah,
fence.
yeah.
Yes, that's the word they use.
This is,
Yes, yes.
these words don't change. This is you have to now nurture it. It's a small plant. You have to nurture it. You have to keep the weeds away, make sure nothing else gets in, to grow around it until, and
Yes.
yeah, and if you kind of be with me for 3 years, means you don't leave this satsang for 3 years, in any way. Then it will become a strong tree, you see. So all of these things are So critical. The point really is, he says, for you Mahatmas, when you open your eyes, you would have, I give you Keval Gnan, I give you 360 degrees, I don't hold back any Gnan, I give you everything. But I could not digest it, and you will not be able to digest it. Your experience will slip from the Gnan Vidhi, from the 360 of the Gnan Vidhi to 325, and that's where it will stop. You are, what does 325 mean? It will stop that your experiences without the intellect has begun now, without the use of the intellect. Intellect is not needed. Your light has begun, your illumination has begun. And preserve that illumination through the agnas. I mean, as clear as that. That's it, you see?
Ujú. Beautiful. Dice que la importancia de las agnas, ¿no? Esto de llevarte a quién eres, y nosotros, y bueno, en el Nan dicen, em, que estés en las agnas, que eso es lo que va a proteger, ¿no? Es como que acaba de plantar una pequeña planta o un árbol y que las agnas es la nutrición, el cuidado y la protección de esta planta para que crezca. Pero el punto de todo esto es que Dada dice que en el Nan yo te he dado los 360 grados, te los he dado completo, pero lo que pasa es que no hay que digerir todo, tanto conocimiento, y él tampoco. Entonces dice que caerás hasta los 325 grados y tu experiencia sin usar el intelecto va a ir creciendo y tu iluminación comenzará con el uso de las agnas.
Beautiful. Shuddhatma Bhagavan. Now, our time is up. I am my namaskars, highest namaskars to each one who have, each one of us who have reached 325 degrees. Okay, because there are two ways of looking at it. I am at 325, and any other deficiency is wrong vision. You see. Yes, is intellectual vision. It's in the wrong, looking at it from the wrong place. See?
Los más elevados saludos para todos ustedes que están en los 325 grados y tener esta visión es estar en las agnas, no intelecto, y si estás en otro lugar, eso estás mirando para el lugar incorrecto.
Have a wonderful morning. Yes, until we meet
Thank you,
again.
Shuddha.
Jai
Thank you.
Sachidan.
Jai Sachidan.
Jai Sachitana.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidan.
Jai Sachidanand,
Jai
gracias
Sachidanand.
Marta, gracias Pai,
Gonzalo, Carlos, and
thank you.
Rosie, Damian, I don't know. You're right. Everybody is here, right? Wonderful. Jai Sachidan Harman.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Yes, yes.
Toda la familia.
Yeah, the whole family. Yes.